My fellow crypto holders, this is a warning to everyone right now that's in the market and underprepared, or even if you feel like you are, reassessing where you are at the moment and trying to be as safe as you possibly can be whilst maximizing returns. Yes, you can have the best of both worlds, and in this video, I'm really going to show you how to do that. Now, why this is so important to do at the moment, truly so important, is because you're not thinking with that green, greedy goblin in the back of your mind dictating what you do. I'm going to move my sell prices up. I'm going to jump into this coin, sell the coin I've been holding for the longest time and ape into that because it's pumping and so on. You're thinking pessimistically. You're thinking more in line with someone who's more worried than greedy. And that's what you want to be doing right now to reorganize things. Okay, so we'll get into everything I want to discuss in today's video in quite a bit of depth. But if you do want to see more, let me know by hitting the like button down there, subscribing, and let's begin. Let's just take a minute here to say, if you're in the market still, if you're still optimistic, or even if you're a bear and you think that the market's about to roll over and we're going to go into a bear market, at least you're still rocking up, you're showing up, and you're assessing things, right? You've got your fingers on the pulse, essentially. I commend you. It's not easy to do. These days are hard. These days are long, especially if you look at your portfolio all day. It just feels grueling. I truly do believe, as the market does state right now, and I truly wish this for you, that this next 12 months is a very prosperous 12 months indeed. I will flip completely bearish or be open about being pessimistic if the market does not look favorable. But as it stands right now, everything looks fine, okay? I know sentiment is low. I know you feel like crap, but the charts don't lie. Emotion is usually a way whales can make more money from you. What we want to do now is kind of like leverage what the whales have done to us. They've given us this mindset, but unbeknownst to them, we're going to use it to our advantage. It is the best time in a market when you're feeling a bit down to reassess everything. But in this video, I want to mainly focus on reorganizing and what that means, adapting and preparing. Because if you don't reorganize based on new information, if you don't adapt based on the same new information, and if you do not prepare, as they say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, you are setting yourself up for, I know, obviously, failure, but you're wasting your money. You're going through all the trials and tribulations everyone in investing, whether you're in the stock market or in crypto, end up facing at some point. Guys, we're not playing with monopoly money. You worked your ass off to get to this point to invest. Let's spend a little bit of time thinking critically, analyzing charts, and breaking some of the more important stuff like this video down. So 2 things everyone wants in crypto is to make more money or make the most money and be as safe as possible. So you want to take advantage of huge swings like this, okay? You want exposure when we're at a point in price discovery, okay? You don't want to be selling all down here because you're going to hate yourself in the bear market. You're over here going to be thinking, I made some money, but I didn't take advantage of what I could have. The massive 20x, 30x, 40x. I'm going to tell you how to take advantage of this in just a moment. But you also need to protect yourself from disaster in the sense we don't have a massive surge in your coin, and chances are, you know, if you own 5 coins, one of them's not going to do that well. It's just statistics. Then you got to protect yourself in that circumstance as well, because if you don't have all your sell levels hit, okay, or if you don't have your one single target up here hit, then you could end up holding your bags for infinity, and maybe that coin never goes to those same prices again. So let's take advantage of this opportunity the whales have given us here in full force. Okay, first of all, reorganizing and adapting. So looking for realistic gains in the best narratives for the top coins. What do I mean? Well, as Key says here, this guy's actually the founder of CryptoQuant, a great analytics website, but he's put this out here. He said, alt season, the one that you're expecting to pump all the coins, won't happen. Alt season's happening right now, basically. Do your research on individual coins. Now, I don't think he's right, but I think what he's trying to say here is what I want to try to push to you. If he, by pure chance, is correct, again, I don't think he's correct, based on the charts at least, then if there are random altcoins that eventually do pump and the broad market doesn't pump at all, then of course you just don't want to be exposed to the opposite side of things. You want to be in the best altcoin. So I'm going to try to help you here and figure out what these possibly are, Also, the best narratives. Part of finding the best coins is finding the best narratives. You cannot find gold in the middle of somewhere where gold does not simply form based on geography, and you can search there all day, every day, and you won't find anything. Or you can go to a place where gold has 100% formed, go to the outskirts where no one else has been before, and chances are you might hit a gold mine. It's better you go where you know the money will flow. So what I'm trying to say here is you want to find the best narratives and the top coins in those narratives, because they're immediately on everyone's watch list and everyone's eyes. They chances are have a reason why they're in that particular position already. So if we go to categories, and let's just say we go to AI and big data, there's a reason why Near Protocol, Potenza, ICP, and Render, FET as well, and Injective, they're all here for a reason. Okay, they're not at this spot because of some random fluke. They've got partnerships, they've got connections, they've got everything to be here. So AI, great narrative, great coins at the top here. The more you go down, the smaller and smaller the coin, the more the multiple, sure. But you also have the chance of just it being lost in the noise. Okay, so in addition to finding the right narrative, you have to also look a little bit deeper into the top coins. But this will sort of help us prevent being in part of this possible situation where we might end up having selective altcoins pump. And I think the two best narratives by far are a combination of AI real-world assets. Of course, DPIN is technically pinned with AI to a degree because most AI projects in some way are DPIN coins. But if you can find a hypercoin that hits both of these and even an additional narrative, you, my friend, have found a very rare project. For example, that's like Chainlink, that's like Injective Protocol. Don't get confused with narratives, guys. I see people throwing HBAR into the mix. While I love HBAR, do not get me wrong. They throw HBAR in an AI coin as well as real asset. Yes, it may have AI projects on it or some way sort of be affiliated with AI and to some degree in the protocol. But the immediate response to, hey, what is HBAR is not AI. It must immediately be recognized as an AI, DPIN, or real-world asset coin. If it is not, then unfortunately you have a sub-narrative. Okay, it could form into a primary, but right now it's not really known for that. So again, you want to find sort of narratives that overlap, and particularly narratives in the top ranking narratives. So the 10s or the 9s, you can see that what I've listed here is 10s and 9s. If you find a coin that overlaps gaming and AI, like Beam, for example, that's great. If you find a coin in here like maybe Ondo is now going to have a layer 1 as well. That's a sub-narrative right now. When it launches with layer 1, it'll be also in the layer 1 narrative. So these are the coins you want to try to find, as well as, if possible, try to find the ones that are also made in the USA. This just helps tremendously. Well, Liberty Finance don't have too many coins in their belt. You have a very limited amount of coins you can pick from here. But this all does help. What you're seeing on screen here, made in US, AI, DPIN, real world asset, Coinbase top 50, and World Liberty Finance. These are the narratives, if you're going to be very selective, I would go for, just to be absolutely safe. And the thing is here, the big unlock is don't look for unrealistic gains. The more gains you look for, the more risk you put on the table. Because guess what, guys? Everyone wants a 50x. But if you're looking for a 50x, no matter the type of coin it is, you incur extreme risk, 100% or 99% risk, right? It's almost impossible for you to achieve that. It's, again, favorable to the house. Okay, even a 50-50, right? Looking for a 25x, you're literally gambling on it actually happening or not happening. That's just crazy to me. So again, make sure you pick the right coins and the right narratives and don't be unrealistic. Again, you want to survive the bull run and be as safe as possible. And then now I'm going to soon show you how to take advantage of those massive pumps. Now, I don't mean to break your enthusiastic viewing experience, but we've got a very special word from today's video sponsor, Pinlink. And I want to especially thank them because without them, I couldn't bring you daily crypto content, okay? They just help support the channel and they happen to be a bloody fantastic project. You probably heard of them from many of the people already discussing Pinlink, like Alex Becker and a whole plethora of other creators as well. And that's because these guys are making some moves. First of all, they're in 3 major intersections of the crypto bull run, but I'll get to those in just a second. The important thing here is that this project's first of all held up quite well in these current turbulent times, considering it's only on really 2 major, even B or A tier centralized exchanges. It leaves room to go on those S tier exchanges, your Binances, your Coinbases, your Kraken, and so on. And there's also been some murmurs that it could be Binance soon because they have recently been on a live stream discussing some of their upgrades and announcements with Binance themselves. So that's great stuff. But what is Pinlink. What do they do? Well, Pinlink is pretty much an AI, real-world assets, and deep-in project. And the way they kind of have these really massive narratives of the bull run, the ones I'm actually speaking about in this video, is they essentially allow people to fractionalize GPU power. That also includes CPU power that you're not using. So essentially people can come in and you can make some passive income from other people using your computer essentially. And then those people can leverage Pinlink as well to host nodes to run things like AI LLMs. So it's got all of that combined in the very process itself of what makes Pinlink Pinlink. And they've already got a whole host of partners already in this, sort of broader ecosystem here, right from guys in the AI space like Aether, Fetch, massive partnership here, Akash, and so on, right through to their DeFi partners, Pendle, Maple, and EtherFi. So big stuff. And again, this model, this sort of way it works, allows people to essentially maximize returns, both by, of course, renting their GPU power out, but also having someone use part of their GPU power to host other applications or services. And so with this model, we're finding projects like Oasis, you can see here. Aether, I believe, also had this as well, actually tokenize entire nodes on the back of Pinlink, which means people on the Pinlink marketplace can jump in here and be a part owner of an Oasis node. And it's all decentralizing, in a way, access to some of these foundational layers. One additional benefit as well is there's $15 million in TVL, so that's pretty impressive considering the actual market cap right now is $75 million. There's so many moving pieces to this ecosystem. It's going to be a great thing when I think the retail customer is allowed to actually utilize the marketplace and some of these institutional users as well, because that's what Pinlink is used for. So when this eventually is flicked on, which shouldn't be too much longer, whenever the marketplace is available, that'll, of course, be a very, very interesting time for the price if we, of course, see the bull run. Thank you again to Pinlink, and let's get back to the video. So let's prepare here now. The final step, how do you make the most gains, okay, with the least possible risk, so in the safest way? This is a possibly magical combination because, again, no one wants extra risk, but everyone wants more gains. And here's how you do it. It's as simple as this, and I guess it took a lot of research on my end to say that, but I can actually present it to you guys in a very simple way. Look, truthfully, if you're not setting up sell levels, okay, this is going to be your downfall. Don't ever let anyone tell you you can sell all at one price. The only people who can ever just say, hey, I'm just going to sell all at one price, all my tokens, other guys from the current prices looking for a 2 or a 3x. Everyone else, you want to set up some sell levels. So in the bull run cheat sheet, part of the private community here, I've got a whole bunch of sell levels for you guys. Actually, if I zoom right out, there's all these sell levels you can pick. All you have to do is change 3 numbers at the very, very top of this page over here. Change those 3 numbers, and there you go. You have literally, you can pick any sell plan you want. Now, today we're going to particularly look into this sell plan right here, which is going to use something called trailing stops. Now, trailing stops are one of the ways we're going to actually capture that sort of high growth you're about to see here. So essentially, let's pretend we're buying Cardano in the previous cycle. Now, just like this cycle, there was some pretty boring sideways price movement. You can see here, probably the average person would have bought Cardano for about 5 cents, roughly speaking, right? And so 5 cents, let's pretend we're looking for a pretty decent 10x from here, okay? So a 10x would have put us at, of course, 50 cents. So the goal for us is to get 50 cents at a 10x or 900% gains, okay? So in this situation here, we'd want to set up a few sell levels. First of all, if this is 50 cents, which it is, level 3 here, you can see at this point, well, we want to have some beneath. That's being safe, okay? So it's locking in gains nice and early. Now, the goal is to have a certain amount of money back by sell level 2. Sell level 1 here is just a way in which you can get back some money. You can see the profit is negative, so we don't quite have our cost basis completely back yet, so the money we put in. But the goal is by sell level 2 here, is to have some gains. So if, excuse the French, shit hits the fan, the market comes down like this, in that situation I showed you before, where this plays out and you can only capture a couple of different sell levels, at least you're actually making some money. Again, a 2.5x, which is what 140% is, isn't too bad versus traditional market. So everyone else is crying, you're probably crying a little bit, but you're not too bad, okay? Now, sell level 3, of course, is the intended sell price, what I call the average sell price here. So that's, of course, bang on the money. And then you have to have some sell levels above, okay? Level 4 and 5 here are levels in which you're going to have to sell at those points because you do need to actually have some sell levels higher if you want to have some sell levels beneath your intended sell price. That's okay though, because the highest we go is actually 7% plus risk, which if you ask me is next to nothing. That's actually very, very good. So in this case, all of our money is being sold, right? So essentially, if we're looking for a 10x, let's say we put in $5,000, we make $45,000 profit or $50,000 revenue. However, we're not capturing that massive upside, are we? So we're not capturing this. Okay, this here in this green zone is what you're missing out on in that last cycle with Cardano. Again, we're down here. These are our sell levels. So essentially what we're missing out on here is basically a maximum of almost a 60x from our average buy-in price, a 60x. Now, what I'm going to tell you to do here is use something or think about using something called a trailing stop. The way a trailing stop loss essentially works is by starting at a trigger price. Okay, let's say that trigger price for us is, let's say, 60 cents for Cardano. When price reaches that trigger price of 60 cents, what essentially happens is this mechanism starts. Now, the mechanism has what's called a delta. The delta is just a price in which if the price falls down to, it will actually trigger you out and automatically sell you out of that position. So to cut a long story short, essentially, if price never falls down to that delta, it will just keep moving up. And the thing is, that delta moves up with the price because it's worked on a percentage. So if this percentage, for example, is 10%, then the delta down here is give or take 54 cents, okay? And if price moves up to 70 cents, for example, then the delta is going to be 63 cents. So it's always 10% behind it. So essentially, if price, theoretically speaking, went up here to $3 and then it came falling back down, that 10% delta would stop you out at, again, 10% of the $3. So it'd be about $2.70, but then you've captured a lot more interest than what you had before. $2.70 is give or take about a 53x. So you'd be pretty damn happy with that. So you can see here in this example, tacking on to the previous 5 sell levels we had before in this purple color, if we actually add in 2 more, which would have a trailing stop here of 59 cents and 63 cents, that would be the initial starting, sort of trigger of this mechanism. So that's down here at 60 cents, the equivalent of. And then from there, the delta, whatever you set it at, will just trail behind the price. Now, look, if you're a beginner, do not worry. I'll tell you about another method you can do here in a second. But if you are someone interested in this and it has piqued your interest, just look into it a little bit further. We've got masterclasses, of course, in the private community covering how to do this and set these up. It's not that hard, but of course, it will help having the sort of helping hand. Essentially, price can just continue to rise and rise. And that's the really benefit of it. You just want to make sure that the delta here is large enough to account for massive swings. Because a massive swing for Cardano in this particular sense here would have taken you out of both of those trailing stops. That was a 55% drop. So you would have been triggered out down here. You, of course, would have made more money. So in this sense, if the trailing stop actually exited you at $1, $1.55, you would have made an extra 25% more on the top side. So you would have made, if your goal was $100,000, you would have made $25,000 more because essentially you took advantage of the price discovery, this massive move up here. But again, not everyone wants to kind of do that. And I'll admit, it can be dangerous for someone who is new to try to fiddle around with this sort of stuff. So what you can alternatively do is just save a percentage. In this case, you can see here, we've got 17.5% we're selling at these higher levels. You can just hold 10, 15, or in this case, 17.5% of your portfolio to the side. And when price goes up, just wait. And when price hits a certain point that you're happy if it falls back down to make money on, which is called a take profit, you're going to set these take profit levels up on the way up. So let's say price is up here. You might go to yourself, you know what? I'm pretty happy if price falls back down to this level and this level to take out my percentages. Or maybe you want to have one level. If price falls down here, I'm happy to go out of all my coins. I've made a lot more money. And in that case, of course, when price did return back down, it would have taken you out and you would have been quite happy. Okay, so there is different ways in which you can do this. But again, the goal here being is that you're capturing that exponential move whilst also having your initial sell levels quite low. And the reason this is so important to do right now is just simply because you're not thinking of 100x expectations, are you? You're quite worried, chances are. You're thinking pessimistically, which means you're not going to be putting unrealistic expectations on the market. Look, I think that these prices can go much higher than where they are, of course, when we're forecasting from here. But the last thing you want to do is try to sell at the very top. Don't try to do that. You want to actually leave room on the table, which is why this method and idea is actually quite good. Okay, because you're not going to time the exact top, but you can sleep, you can relax, all while knowing price can continue going up. Once it falls back enough, you're out of the market. It's going to make you money. Okay. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I stay strong, hang in there. And if it's doom and gloom, if you think the bull runs over, ask yourself why. Why is the bull run over? Why? And you might be surprised at what your actual answer is, or maybe lack of an answer. So do some more research. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.